Hello inflatable fans, I hope you're all well. I'm down at Bishop Thorpe with that big swan. For the past few weeks I've actually had a trapped nerve in my neck, shoulder, arm, and I've been a bit incapacitated actually since the drake holes trip out. Yeah, about 5 to 6 weeks. I haven't been out on the water for 5 to 6 weeks. For some time now, I've fancied the idea of doing some fun videos using one of those e-fins, that kind of stuff. And while I've been off, I bought one. It's the Hiqmar e-fin, and today I'm going to take it out for a spin. I'm still in pain and stuff and having issues with this trapped nerve, and I'm pretty sure that paddling isn't aggravating it. However, as I say, I bought this. Well, I started thinking when this complaint occurred, when this issue occurred, that what would I do if this actually became my permanent situation? And I did think, well, I could try out lots of different motors, couldn't I? So this might be a starting point, or it might be the only one I ever own. Anyway, let's get it set up. So here we have the Hiqmar e-fin setup. This is the battery box, and what you've got on the side of here, I think you can see that, got a power on switch. There's a safety cut off there, I'll show you that in just a second. Then you've got an input and an output, and these just screw off to slot the leads in. And then you get this nice little box here with a grippy, there we go, thingy on it. Just slide that under there so I don't lose it. And that's the fin itself. It does come with a spare prop, which is quite nice. I like that idea. And it comes with a couple of attachments. There's a USA fin box attachment and a standard SUP skeg mount attachment, which is the one I've slotted on here. And then there's your power lead that slots into there. Inside the battery box there is a little top compartment. Now this is waterproof and floatable apparently. Let's get that open. Right, see that little compartment in there? So that's your remote, that goes on your wrist for controlling the fin itself, and then that's your safety cut off. And what happens there is you attach that to the boat, stick the magnet on the side there, which creates the circuit, and then if the battery happens to come off the boat, pop, at least your motor stops. Safety, right? Look at that, I've done that thing with the sun again. I'm so good, me. So I've got the battery firmly secured at the back. The power lead, as you can see, is trailing under to the fin. I have just quickly given it a remote test and it all seems to be okay. Microwave's in the back of the boat to cook my tea. Just got to get in and get going now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paddle out before trying this motor. Let's set the old timer going and see what speeds we kind of get up to with this. Got to get comfortable first, haven't you? Got to get comfortable. Quite nice to be out in this Ottawa again. Do like it. Ahead there you can see Bishop Thorpe Palace. Palace for an Archbishop. What the hell's that for, eh? Alright, so let's have a look at this control. So you've got reverse, drive and sport. Drive is your standard mode. You're supposed to start in that one. So let's press start. Oh, and we're off. Just using the paddle as a bit of a rudder. So if I just stop paddling, it's going pretty straight. Doing about 3.6 miles an hour, 3.5. See what it's like in sport. Oh, there she goes. That nice little bow wave. So I am travelling upriver, bear in mind. There's been a lot of rain. The river level is up, so the current will be higher than it is normally. But this is it's quite cool actually. Currently doing 4.2 miles an hour. Can I paddle with it? I can, and I can turn it, so I'm paddling with the right paddle to turn it away from those trees, and it's working. So what this motor does is, at sport mode, it should last around 2 hours, and in drive mode, if I drop it down to drive mode now, that slightly slower one, it's supposed to last about 5 hours, and do quite a lot of kilometres actually. So, do you know what, this is nice. Even just in sort of like the lower speed drive mode, it's still pulling along nicely, just over 3 miles an hour, still creating a bit of a bow wave. And I think one of the good things about this is because it's powering from the fin, it should track pretty much straight. If you've got a boat, if the fin alignment is good, it should drive the boat straight. So you haven't got any of the side-to-side motion that you get with the paddle, because every time obviously you drag to one side, you end up moving the boat. As a paddle assist in the drive mode, do you know, this is really nice. And there is a headwind actually, incidentally. The wind is blowing a bit northerly, so it's blowing across and at me. So you can see what's happening now. I'm now heading, because of the bend, straight into the centre of the river, and I don't want to be doing that, so if I just pull on the left hand paddle a little bit, straighten up. How cool is that? I'm not even having to use the paddle as a rudder. I don't want to do that really, because that slows the boat down. I'd rather, you'll hear it now, if I put the paddle in the back to use it as a rudder, right, that's going to put strain on the motor, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use the paddles themselves in a positive way rather than using negative strokes to control direction. Got a female swan coming up, we'll give her a bit of a berth. Don't want to scare her. She's not overly fussed anyway, look how she's busy scoffing. Up ahead in the distance we've got the A64. Yeah, I know I've done that thing where I've got the sun behind me. I can't help it, I'm afraid. But, this is nice. And, I mentioned about my shoulder. It's a lot easier on that. If you're only having to paddle just to give the boat a bit of direction. I don't know what you'll hear in the way of motor sounds, whether you can hear the motor. I won't know that until I get back. To me, this sounds really quiet. I can hardly hear it. Although as soon as I put it in sport mode, oh, it stopped. Well, that's weird. It's completely stopped. I know the battery was charged. I'm just going to check that the emergency cut-off hasn't sort of like come loose. That still seems to be in place. Turned it off and turned it back on again. It just powered up and then died. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was a bit disappointing. I'm gonna have to paddle back. Well, I'll paddle up for a little way anyway. See what it's like paddling it using the thing as a skeg. I'll turn it off and then see if it'll come back on for the journey back, for the trip back. It's all screwed in and set up, but I've turned it off for a bit. And I'll paddle up to the A64 and then turn round. I'll see what it's like using this as a tracking pin. Be interesting to kind of see what speeds I can get in the boat with this as a tracking fin. I'm currently doing about 2.5 miles an hour. It's definitely slower with this in. 2.6. I'm not caning it today, as I say. Got this trapped nerve issue. Don't want to be doing this all for mischief. Alright, well, I've just turned it off and turned it back on again, and in reverse it seems to be working fine. So it's spun me round, so I'm going to turn back round manually and then turn it back on again. Might have been that there was something in the prop. There is a boat coming up behind me and one in front. But anyway, let's turn this on and see if it works again. It powered up and then died again. How weird. And now reverse isn't working either. How odd. I know I charged the battery up, so I'm not really sure what's going on here. Howdy. It's Friday tea time. The A64 is busy as heck. There's a lady just beyond the bridge I was talking to at the marina. She's on a paddle board. She was asking about what the situation was at Bishop Thorpe in terms of paying, mooring, all that kind of stuff. Little cruiser coming up behind me. Nice wash here. It stopped working. That's a good start, isn't it? Don't know. Weird. Got to revert to manual. So what is really weird about this is in reverse it's fine. You can see it's just taking me in a circle, but it works. It's still working in reverse. I don't understand this. Also, it's not a battery issue. If it was a battery issue, that wouldn't be happening. There's clearly something wrong somewhere. I'll get over to the other side where I'm supposed to be, so the paddle to the paddle back, and then try it once more. Let's give it a go. Yeah, it powered up and died. Bugger. Incidentally, now I'm paddling downriver with this fin in. It's doing about 3.1 miles an hour. This is my not happy face, just in case you've never seen it before. Howdy. Alright, so we're almost back at base. When we get back there from where we're launched, I'll have a look at this skeg, this fin, and see if there's anything that's obvious that might be causing it to stop. I can't imagine there would be, because why would it work in reverse? Doesn't make any sense for it to work in reverse and yet not work in drive. Weird. Alright, so I'm back at dock. Let's get the boat out and have a look at this fin. Okay, so looking at this as I drag it out of the water, there is nothing obviously wrong with it. So I'm going to have to contact the company and see what they say. As always, I shall keep you informed. Thank you so much for watching. You know what to do about the like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Alright, you take care of yourself. Cheerio.